Which Ajax players are good enough to play in the Premier League, in your opinion?
I think most of them are good enough to play in the Premier League. Look, Ajax are one of the best teams in the world. We know that they tend to sell a lot of their best players because obviously they're not as financially strong as teams in Spain or teams in England. I think if you're talking names of specific players, obviously the goalkeeper, Andre Onana, he's somebody who a lot of clubs in the Premier League are watching. They've been very, very impressed with his form. Spurs are the club that have been linked most heavily with him. Obviously, they have a few problems at the moment in the goalkeeping position. Hugo Lloris has been injured as well, and long term, I'm not sure if he's going to stay at Spurs. A few question marks about his future, so he could be a very, very good fit for Spurs.
Let's go for Ziyech in Holland. Some people say they're not sure if he can manage the level in the Premier League. Do you think he's ready for, let's say, a club like Arsenal or Liverpool?
I think maybe not Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool are very, very strong at the moment. I would say that Liverpool and Manchester City obviously are the strongest two teams in the Premier League at the moment. But I was really impressed with Ziyech, the way he especially played against Spurs last season in the two semi-finals. To me, he looked like somebody who could definitely play in the Premier League. He gave Kieran Trippier, especially the Spurs defender, such a difficult night. And he's one of the best right backs in English football. So I have no doubt that he could adapt to playing in England. What clubs? I mean, all the top clubs, apart from maybe Liverpool and Manchester City. But I know that Arsenal were looking at Ziyech in the summer, but in the end they decided to go and sign Pepe for like £70 million. Now you're looking and thinking maybe Ziyech would have been a better option for them. He's also been linked with Spurs because so many teams in the Premier League are now playing this 4-3-3 system where you need wingers who are not only good at attacking but also good at defending, and I think he is somebody who fits that profile. I think technically he's a very gifted player. His finishing is very good. He's very mobile. He's very agile. He's very physical. He's very energetic. I think the only question mark is could he cope with the physical demands of English football? But I think more and more we're seeing that players are adapting to English football. Yes, it takes a bit of time. It takes a couple of months or maybe a season to get used to English football. But he is somebody who definitely could be a star in the Premier League. But I don't want to disrespect Ajax by talking about all their players leaving because, a lot of people in England have a lot of respect for Ajax and they're recognised as being one of the most famous clubs in the world.
And how about Donny van de Beek?
Donny van de Beek, I mean, he would be an amazing signing for any club in the Premier League. I think, unfortunately, from an English perspective, he is almost too good for the Premier League. You could see him going to Real Madrid, Barcelona. He's that kind of level of player. I know.
You think he's the best player in Ajax?
At the moment, I think now he probably is the best player. He's the star player really now. I think Ajax did very well to keep him in the summer because I know lots of big clubs were trying to sign him. I think he's going to be one of those players as well. He's going to have so many clubs to choose from. I know, for instance, clubs like Manchester United would love to sign him, but would he really want to go and play for Manchester United considering the state they're in at the moment? He's not going to want to take a step down and play in the Europa League. But I think a few years ago he would have been a fantastic player for Manchester United, for instance. I think all the top clubs are watching him very closely, but he's one of those players who I think could end up at a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or a Juventus or a PSG. He's at the top level.
Now are you, the English journalist, looking at like a player like Daley Blind? He's doing fantastically well at Ajax.
I mean, I know especially a lot of journalists who cover Manchester United, Manchester United supporters. He was a very popular player at Manchester United with the supporters and also with the people who worked at the club. He's a very humble person. He always worked very, very hard. Even when he was out of the Manchester United team, he wasn't playing for a very long time. He was very composed. and quiet and kept himself to himself and worked very, very hard. I think Manchester United have made some big mistakes in the players they've sold. He is definitely one of the players. Another defender they sold, Johnny Evans, who's gone to Leicester City and played so well for Leicester City. Chris Smalling has gone to Roma.
They bought Harry Maguire.
And they bought Harry Maguire for £80 million. I mean, Harry Maguire is a good player when it comes to English defenders. He's one of the best English defenders. But I think Daley Blind was just got unlucky at Manchester United. I think with Louis van Gaal leaving, then it made it very difficult for him. And I suppose Manchester United is a club that is in transition. It is in turmoil. If I was an Ajax player, would I really want to go from playing for Ajax, being the champions of Holland, playing in the Champions League, to, yes, going to play for Manchester United? Historically, Manchester United are a massive club, but at the moment, they're really just a mid-table Europa League side.